Welcome back to Your Real Estate Voice with Barb Schlinker. This is the weekly radio show that informs and educates you on how to buy or sell real estate with the owner-broker of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty and the host of the program, Barb Schlinker. Now, Barb, most home sellers believe that they should leave during showings. How can home sellers show their homes for sale and keep full control over the process?
Well, Richard, it's becoming more and more difficult, I hate to say. I would say mostly buyers and their agents would prefer to have total privacy, when they're showing the home. That way they can freely discuss it. And that's okay. They can say what they like and what they don't like about the house. I don't have any issue with that. I don't have any issue with the home seller being home and going, hey, I'm home. I'll step out of your way. I'll be in the garage. If you have any questions, let me know. But the other downside of that is if you're home during showings, is these buyers agents think that if their buyer is interested, they're fighting for their buyer. So they will work hard to try to get intel to see if you're a motivated seller and if they could come in for the kill and write a really low offer. That's what they do. I've had agents confront my clients before at the house and say, "You're not supposed to be here." I had one client call me. She goes, "I don't understand." It was the first time she sold a house. She goes, "I don't understand why she's saying that to me. Am I not supposed to be here?" And I was just so frustrated. I'm like, "It's your house. You are supposed to be there." And then the same house, another agent said the same thing to her. And she looked at him and she goes, "Well, last I checked, my name is still on title."
There you go.
I'm
There
like,
you go.
"God, that was great." So anyway, so generally the buyers prefer that you are not there during the showings. They should be courteous. They should be ethical. They should make sure that they lock the doors, that they, follow the showing instructions, that they leave a card. They never leave cards anymore, which I find just disturbing on so many levels, especially on an occupied home. And, even during inspections, if the seller is home, which is fine, you have to be careful not to highlight the problems that you found. You do have to disclose any adverse broken stuff, but some people go overboard, and I just wouldn't say much, but I would watch what they're doing. I had one seller that had a conversation. They did have a leak. It was a 2-story home, and they had hired a professional company to fix the problem. Everything was fixed. They did mold remediation. Everything was perfectly repaired to the T, and that was disclosed. But the unlicensed, unqualified inspector took that to a new level and said, "Oh no, you're going to have to test for mold again," which they'd already done. And they walked away because we wouldn't retest for mold since it had already been done and already been resolved. So I think there was probably more to it than that. I kind of suspect that the buyer really couldn't afford that house. And sometimes that does happen. So first of all, if you want to control people's access to your home, most agents will go out there and say, "Oh, you have to make it available at any moment given time when the buyers want to see it." I said, that's just not true. In fact, it makes it more desirable if you make it more exclusive. So how do you do that? Basically, you limit the hours. You don't have to drop everything when you're in the middle of dinner and leave the house and clean up just because somebody wants to see the house. I'm sorry. If they really want to see it, you have to think about, look at the big picture. Most homes and the photos give a lot of information nowadays. It wasn't the case before, maybe 10, 20 years ago. The pictures really weren't that good where a buyer could get a feel for what the house actually looks like. But now the imagery is so high quality, they know what the house looks like. They just want to go in and have the experience, which is fine, but it doesn't have to be at your inconvenience. Make it work for you. Restrict the showing hours to make it work for you. And we do that for our sellers. And here's one reason why. First of all, the system is kind of rigged where most agents are meeting the buyer for the first time at the house. they're buying internet leads from Realtor.com or Zillow, or maybe getting internet leads from their own website. And what do the buyers want to do? They want to see the house. They don't want to sit down and talk with an agent. They certainly don't want to sign an agreement, which is the rule. So they show up at the house for the first time. They've never met the buyer. They don't even know what the buyer is actually looking for. They don't, a lot of them won't sit down and interview it. If you back up just a little bit, in the world of real estate, it's 1 month of school to get a license. There's no job description. There's no how to. Everybody writes their own job description on how they're supposed to do it. And at the end of the day, the focus is to make money. So they think the way they make money is they pop out of the toaster and show up at the house and hope the buyer loves it so they can make some money. And I've gotten feedback from showings like, where it's a ranch style home, and the agent says, oh, the buyer wants a 2-story. I'm like, then why were you there? Why did you make the sellers leave? The other thing that's shocking to me about the industry in this state anyway, there's no requirement on the agent to verify that the buyer can buy a house, right? So they don't know if they could buy a couch on Craigslist, let alone that home. So they're meeting them for the first time at the house and just hope it works out. And of course, they're going to ask for a pre-qualification if they want to make an offer. But for showing purposes, you may not have somebody that's actually a player. So I would make the schedule work for you the best way you can. And I've talked to a lot of sellers about this maybe buyer situation. They're like, oh, they came to look at the house and they weren't here for very long or something like that. I know for a fact that a lot of times I see these agents at the open houses that we hold introduce themselves to the buyers right there on the spot. You know, Realtor.com and Zillow have become a billion-dollar company by grabbing everybody's listing, presenting it on their websites, which are better than the MLSs for sure. That's where a majority of the buyers search for homes. And the button on Zillow's site is, want to schedule a tour? So when the buyer clicks that button, Zillow will sell the buyer lead to some random agent that's paying for leads on that zip code. They don't know the house. They've never seen the house. They don't know anything about it. So the buyer wants to go see the house. The agent wants to get paid. So the first meeting is at your house. They're using your house, to me, as a marketing opportunity instead of a sale, essentially. So that's not always the case. There are some that had been working with their buyer and something new popped on the market, and that's fine. But the sad truth is, and these stats are according to Zillow, last year, 72% of agents sold zero homes, if you can believe that. 81% of them sell 3 or less homes, right? So when they do get an opportunity to go work with a buyer and get something done, they will use the showing opportunity as the way to do it. Now, are agents supervising their buyers when they're in the house? Do they have the courage to tell them what's appropriate or what's not appropriate or what their showing instructions are? Are they even reading the showing instructions? I don't think so. You wouldn't believe. I have evidence that indicates. I had one house last year that had structural problems, and I put it on the showing instructions. I put it on the agent remarks. When they got to the house and saw the problems, the buyer was surprised and disappointed. The agent was like, oh, Barb should have told me. And I'm like, I did tell you. It was in the MLS. It was in, all you had to do is click that link on your phone to see the information. So I think all they care about is what is the combo to get in. So these are some of the problems I've seen on showings. Kids jumping on beds, people using the restrooms and failing to flush, which is a problem, dropping popcorn on the floor, leaving doors unlocked, leaving the correct lockbox code in the lockbox with the lockbox wide open so anybody could get in the house, tracking snow in the house. I forgot about that. Allowing tag-along buyers to come in, not even their buyers, some other random buyer that happened to show up when they were showing and go, oh, you let me in? I want to see that house. They don't know that buyer. They don't know anything about them. And they let them in the house. and that buyer goes and starts rifling through stuff and stealing stuff. You got to be really careful. Recently, my client came back from a showing and took pictures of the house, lockbox wide open, lockbox combo right there, keys right there, and the medicine cabinet wide open, wide open. Why would the medicine cabinet be wide open? That's really strange. So there's just no supervision about this, essentially. Recently, I had somebody that we had a lot of people at this home, brand new carpet. We were marketing brand new carpet. It was obvious a brand new carpet. Seller showed up after church to check on the house. There is a pizza box thrown on the brand new carpet. Pizza box. It's like, really? The agent didn't have the courage to say, that's inappropriate. Don't bring your food in here. It only takes 10 minutes to look at the house. You're not going to be here all day. So it's unbelievable, the stuff that goes on. I'm just telling you this so you're not surprised, and you can restrict the showings, make it work for you. Oftentimes when you restrict the showings, you'll actually have a better result, and you will get people that are really serious that come in the door. My name is Barb Schlinker. I'm the broker owner of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty and the host of this show, Your Real Estate Voice. And we're talking about how you can avoid showing nightmares. Next up, we're going to talk about a couple of more things that you can do to avoid problems. Richard?
You're listening to Your Real Estate Voice with Barb Schlinker of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. You can reach Barb at 719-301-3900. And we're talking, Barb, about moving. What are some agents showing nightmares, and what can home sellers do about them?
Number one, make sure your valuables are locked up and not accessible. Jewelry, weapons, alcohol, all those kind of things. Anything valuable that's easy to carry out. Don't leave that out. I'm not saying theft happens a lot. I don't think it happens a lot, but the best thing you can do is secure your stuff. Also, first impressions absolutely matter. So when they get to the house, make sure it smells good, it looks good, it's picked up, it's ready to go. And go ahead and put up those security cameras. This is a picture I'm looking at right now where the buyer's agent was at the inspection. And I get a call from the seller going, what's going on? Are they squatting in my home? And I'm like, what are you talking about? They're having an inspection. And he sent me this picture of, there's the pizza delivery gal with 3 pizzas and a bag of wings. And they're like, why are they eating in my house? It's just weird. So I'm just saying, be prepared for being surprised, and make sure you hire the agent and the team that can help you get ready, that has the processes in place so that you don't have these issues and there are no surprises. If you are thinking of making a move, give us a call at 719-301-3900 or go to barbhasthebuyers.com. Richard?
You're listening to Your Real Estate Voice. That's Barb Schlinker of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. And if you're thinking of making a move, call Barb at 719-301-3900, or you can always visit barbhasthebuyers.com. Barb, you've got some hot new listings for us. Lightning round. Tell us about them.
Well, we have a really low price condo on the southwest part of town, priced at just $50,000. The HOA dues are high. This is offered as a short sale, but it's a really good buy if you wanted a rental or, just a first time place to live that's in a great location. We have a beautiful townhome also in the southwest part of town, at $274,999. This beautiful townhome is 2 master suites plus a loft and a 2-car garage. We also have a couple of properties that are owned by the Secretary of Veterans Affairs that represent really good buys. One down on Bramble, 3 bedrooms, 3 bath, 2-car garage in a great location. We have a beautiful house down in Pueblo, 3 bedrooms plus a loft plus a main level bedroom. And this beautiful home is priced at $379,900. And then we have a whole bunch more listings, including a fantastic home at 7518 Vincent Drive. This gorgeous home on over 2+ acres has unbelievable panoramic views in superb condition, priced at $999,900. And then we also have an amazing home at 34050 Judge Orr Road. This amazing property is over 80 acres, has 2 barns, has a stunning ranch style home with over 5,400 square feet, plus a auxiliary dwelling unit of almost 3,000 square feet. This is the perfect estate to move into, and a beautiful estate up in Florissant on 2754 County Road 421. This gorgeous home, 2.15 million, has 35 acres, the amazing detached garage that's an RV garage that can fit over 8 cars. Plus, it has its own apartment. To find out more about our listings, go to barbhasthebuyers.com and click on featured properties. Richard?
You've been listening to Your Real Estate Voice. It airs every Saturday. If you're thinking of making a move, call the host of the program. That is Barb, 719-301-3900, or visit barbhasthebuyers.com. And remember, you can see replays of the show on Barb's YouTube channel, Barb Schlinker, or listen to the podcast on all of the podcast platforms like Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, many, many others. Thank you for listening this week. And to reach out to Barb, that number again, 719-301-3900. Have a great week, Barb. We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you. Have a great weekend.